for you from The Punch, The Guardian, The Nigerian Tribune.
Latest stories
on the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
Police neutralized 7 tourists.
Breaking updates
from the state governor.
All in one place. Tune into Today in the Print on Crest 106.1 FM. Every day at 6:30 a.m. Be sure to get the headlines that matter, delivered with clarity and insight. Today in the Print on Crest 106.1 FM. Get informed. Get informed. Get informed.
Good morning. Today is the 14th day in the month of November 2025, and we welcome you to Today in the Print on Crest 106.1 FM. It's here we'll bring you news stories emanating from the national dailies. We'll be taking stories from The Punch, The Guardian, The Nigerian Tribune, This Day newspaper, and some other national dailies. I am Omari Duncan Oloto.
My name is Ife Adidola. Good morning.
And first, the headlines. Beginning from the Guardian newspaper, ADC says fresh 1.15 trillion loan exposes Tinubu's addiction to reckless debt. Also, more consumption threatens $5 billion leather industry, says federal government. Libya deports 80 Nigerians over illegal stay, and U.S. military intervention in Nigeria will be messy. That's coming from Adeyemi. ASU may resume full-blown strike on November 21 over selective implementation of pact. Those are some of the headlines coming to you from the Guardian newspaper.
And from the Punch newspaper this morning, this headline says Ibadan Convention PDP delegate arrive amid Saraki's cancellation move. National Assembly shifts WAEC CBT adoption to 2030. Fake Ondo cocoa farmer to face trial over 36 million naira fraud. And also from the Punch newspaper, Tinubu shifts 15% fuel import duty to first quarter of 2026. APC decries slow e-membership registration in state as the FCC presents 104 million naira recovered tax to Niger government.
And on the Nation newspaper, why I went to disputed Abuja land by Wike. Reps ask WAEC to halt CBT policy till 2030. Tinubu, it's our duty to build a productive nation, protect Nigeria's sovereignty. Also, alleged 110.4 billion naira fraud. I wasn't account officer. 2 NNPP reps join APC. Those are some of the headlines coming to you from the Nation newspaper.
All right, these are some of the headlines from the daily. So we're back with the details, so please stay with us. Thank you for staying tuned. Serving you this story coming from the Punch newspaper. ADC knocks Tinubu over fresh loans despite revenue boost claim. The African Democratic Congress on Thursday criticized President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration over its fresh 1.15 trillion naira domestic borrowing approval, accusing the government of reckless debt accumulation wrapped in propaganda and a troubling pattern of policy inconsistency. The criticism, contained in a statement issued in by the party's National Publicity Secretary, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, came barely 24 hours after the Senate approved Tinubu's request to raise the fund from the domestic market to finance the remaining shortfall in the 2025 national budget. The ADC described the borrowing as a contradiction of Tinubu's own claims that Nigeria had met and surpassed its non-oil revenue targets, reportedly generating 20.59 trillion naira in the first 8 months of 2025. The opposition party warned that if all of Tinubu's loan requests for 2025 were approved, Nigeria's total public debt could rise to 40.61 trillion naira to a staggering 193 trillion naira, citing verified figures from the Debt Management Office. Well, for more on that, check the Punch newspaper. ADC knocks Tinubu over fresh loans despite revenue boost claim.
And on the Guardian newspaper, Senate considers bill subjecting military convictions to court review. 7 details of that story. The Senate yesterday passed for second reading a landmark bill to repeal and reenact the Armed Forces Act, establishing a modern, constitutionally compliant and operationally responsive legal framework for the country's military. Sponsored by Abdulaziz Yaradua, the Armed Forces Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2025 seeks to align military governance with democratic oversight, judicial accountability, and international standards. Following his scuffle with a naval officer on Tuesday, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has declared readiness to continue taking tough, often unpopular decisions in defense of principle, even if those choices costs him his job. However, former President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, cautioned Nigerians, regardless of social or political status, against disrespecting the armed forces, emphasizing that the men and women in uniform deserve the nation's highest regard and support for their sacrifices in ensuring peace and security. For more, check The Guardian. Senate considers bill subjecting military convictions to court review.
From the Punch newspaper, ICPC vows strict action on the LG autonomy defaulters. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission has warned that it will take action against local government officials who fail to implement the financial autonomy granted to them by the Supreme Court. The chairman of ICPC, Dr. Musa Damwaliu, in Jos on Thursday, stated this during a capacity building workshop on the local government accountability framework for LGAs in Nigeria, organized by the Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption Program funded by the European Union and implemented by the International IDEA. Aliyu emphasized that the financial autonomy granted to local governments is a landmark decision that must be implemented, and that ICPC will ensure that officials who fail to do so are held accountable. Well, for more on that, check the Punch newspaper. ICPC vows strict action on LG autonomy defaulters.
And still on the Punch newspaper, EFCC presents 104 million naira recover tax to Niger government. 7 details to that story. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has handed over 104 million naira to the Niger state government following the successful recovery of the sum from Kiara Rice Mills Limited. The EFCC said the recovered amount represents the company's unremitted tax liabilities accrued between 2021 and 2024. The Commission, in a statement by the EFCC spokesman Dele Oyewale on Thursday, said intelligence received in February 2025 indicated that the multi-billion-naira firm located in Patsua Village, Mokwa local government area of Niger State, had failed to remit its full tax obligations despite operating profitably, a violation of both federal tax laws and state revenue regulations. For more on that story, you can check the Punch newspaper. EFCC presents 104 million naira recover tax to Niger government.
All right, from the Punch newspaper, the story says Tinubu shifts 15% fuel imports duty to first quarter of 2026. The federal government has approved the postponement of the implementation of the 15% imports duty on petrol and diesel until the first quarter of 2026, contrary to earlier notions that the suspension was indefinite. The deferment, formally approved by President Bola Tinubu, was in response to a detailed request submitted by the Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Dr. Zakis Adedeji, following extensive strategic consultations with key stakeholders to assess market readiness and ensure a smooth and orderly rollout of the 15% import duty. Adedeji made a request in a letter dated November 7, 2025, titled Deferment of the Commencement of the Implementation of the Premium Motor Spirit and Diesel Imports Duty. The letter, obtained exclusively by newsmen on Thursday, stressed the need to ensure that local refining infrastructure is fully prepared, technical and operational frameworks are properly aligned, and fuel supply disruptions are minimized before the levy takes effect. Well, for more on that, check the Punch newspaper. Tinubu shift 15% fuel import duty to first quarter of 2026.
And on the Nation newspaper, alleged 110.4 billion naira fraud. I wasn't account officer. A prosecution witness in the ongoing money laundering trial of former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello, Mr. Mishaila Bata, has claimed that he was never the account officer to the Kogi State Government House Administration, where funds were allegedly withdrawn unlawfully. Bata, a compliance officer with Zenith Bank, stated this during cross-examination yesterday at the High Court of Federal Capital Territory FCT on the resumption of the hearing in the case. Bello is being prosecuted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) with Umar Oricha, Director General Kogi State Government House, and Abdusalami Hudu on a 16-count charge. The EFCC is in the charge alleging criminal breach of trust to the tune of 110.4 billion naira. For more, check the Nation. Alleged 110.4 billion naira fraud. I wasn't account officer.
From The Guardian, now moving to education, ASU may resume full-blown strike on November 21 over selective implementation of PACT. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, will resume, comprising Chukwemeka Odumego Ojukwu University, Igbariam Federal University of Technology, Owerri, Imo State University, Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, and Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, has announced that it will have no alternative but to embark on full-scale industrial action from November 21, 2025, if the federal government fails to address their long-standing demands. It decried what it termed selective implementation of its agreement with the federal government. The announcement was contained in a statement released to journalists by the zonal coordinator, Professor Dennis Aribodo, and issued to journalists during a briefing at the ASU Unizi Conference Hall in Awka yesterday. Well, the Guardian has more on that story, so the headline says ASU may resume full-blown strike on November 21 over selective implementation of PACT.
And still on education, reps ask WAEC to hold CBT policy till 2030. The House of Representatives yesterday asked the Federal Ministry of Education and the West African Examinations Council, WAEC, to immediately suspend the implementation of the computer-based CBT policy for the 2026 Senior Secondary School Certificate Examination, SSCE. The House also asked the Federal Ministry of Education to work with various states to include in their 2026, 2027, 2028 and 2029 budget in the recruitment of computer teachers, construction of computer halls with internet facilities, and supply of standby generators for all secondary schools across the country. The Green Chamber called for the provisions of essential facilities in private schools before the commencement of the policy in 2030. The House stated these while adopting a motion of urgent public importance on the need for intervention to avert the pending massive failure of candidates intending to write the 2026 West African Examination Council work using computer-based examination, CBT, capable of causing depression and deaths of students. For more, check the Nation. Reps ask WAEC to hold CBT policy till 2030.
All right, you're listening to Today in the Print right here on Crest 106.1 FM, Akure. It's 15 minutes to 7 from our studios, and after this break, we bring you political stories, so please stay with us.
Why is this line not moving?
Sorry, ma. The network is a bit slow. Don't lose customers to long queues. With the First Money Merchant POS, every checkout is fast, reliable, and instantly settled.
Finally, quick and easy.
Get your First Money Merchant POS now on www.firstbanknigeria.com/get your POS or at any First Bank branch close to you. First Bank, you first.
It's the Indomie Eat and Win promo. The more you eat, the more you win. How to win? Buy the Indomie Eat and Win promo pack. Find the promo code inside. Visit indomie.ng/eat and win. Enter your promo code and start earning points fast for a chance to win exciting gifts and 1 million naira cash every week for a lucky winner. So hurry now, eat and win. Let the winning begin. Visit indomie.ng/eat and win for more details. Terms and conditions apply.
You're welcome back and thank you for staying tuned. We're still serving you stories from the national newspapers and beginning from the Nation newspaper. Why I went to disputed Abuja land by Wike. Serving you details to that story. Federal Capital Territory FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has shed light on why he went to a disputed land in the Gaduwa district of Abuja, where a development project was ongoing. His attempt to access the land owned by a former Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo, led to a fiasco between him and a naval officer, Lieutenant A.M. Yerima. The minister told reporters before the FCT Executive Council meeting yesterday that he acted because officials of the ministry at the level of directors were beaten up. Quote, "How can I sit as a minister when government officials are being attacked and beaten up? Officials at the level of directors, and I'll just sit in my office doing what?" End quote. As the meeting progressed, bulldozers allegedly deployed to halt work on the 2.5-acre disputed land were seen in a video being trucked out. Wike accused Vice Admiral Gambo of impunity and Navy Lieutenant Yerima of calling police officers who accompanied him to the scene of the altercation as bloody police. For more, check The Nation. Why I went to disputed Abuja land by Wike.
From the Guardian newspaper, PDP crisis deepens as Abdul Rahman faction boycotts Ibadan convention. The internal crisis within the People's Democratic Party worsened yesterday as a faction led by acting national chairman Muhammad Abdul Rahman announced a boycott of the party's national convention scheduled for Ibadan this weekend, declaring it illegal and unconstitutional. The Abdul Rahman-led faction, backed by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, and several National Working Committee members, met in Abuja and resolved to shun the Ibadan gathering, accused the Umaru Damagom-led group of brazen disregard for valid court judgment and flagrant abuse of the PDP constitution. Abdul Rahman urged delegates and members across the 36 states and the FCT to stay away from the convention, stressing that the PDP must operate strictly within the boundaries of the law. PDP crisis deepens as Abdul Rahman faction boycotts Ibadan convention. The Guardian has that story.
2 NNPP reps join APC. The number of the All Progressives Congress APC members in the House of Representatives increased yesterday. 2 members of the New Nigeria People's Party NNPP from Kano State joined the ruling party during plenary. The defection of the 2 members, Abdul Muminu Jibrin and Saga Ibrahim Koki, was announced by Speaker Tajuddin Abbas. Their defection is coming barely 24 hours after the People's Democratic Party PDP member of the House of Representatives, Daniel Amos from Kaduna State, defected to the governing party. Jibrin, who heads the House Committee on Housing, had earlier in the week announced his resignation from the NNPP and the Kwankwasia movement. The defectors said they dumped the NNPP due to irreconcilable differences within the leadership of the party at the state and national levels. For more, check The Nation. 2 NNPP reps join APC.
Now moving to security, coming from the Punch newspaper. Fake cocoa farmer to face trial over 36 million naira fraud. The Ondo State Police Command said it would arraign a suspect, Ilegbami Jacob, for allegedly falsely presenting himself as a cocoa farmer to obtain the sum of 36 million naira from one Sunday at Degboyo, with a promise to supply 5.5 tons of cocoa beans, which he failed to deliver. The command's public relations officer, Olayinka Anyolade, disclosed this in a statement on Thursday. Anyolade noted that the suspect was arrested following a petition from the victim who narrated that the suspect had failed to deliver on their agreement. Following the petition, Ayolade noted that the police operatives tracked the suspect to his hideout in Akura, the state capital, after he had fled from the victim. The Punch has more on the story: 36 million naira fraud, suspected of fake Ondo cocoa farmer to face trial.
APC decries slow e-membership registration in states. The All Progressives Congress yesterday raised concern over the poor turnout recorded in its ongoing e-membership registration exercise, urging state chairmen to take ownership of the process and ensure full participation across all senatorial districts. Speaking at the APC e-membership registration trainers workshop for the state and the FCT, party chairman in Abuja, the party's national organizing secretary Suleiman Agungu disclosed that while a few states had made commendable progress, many others had barely started. For more, check the Punch. APC decries slow e-membership registration in states.
Libya deports 80 Nigerians over illegal stay. That's coming from The Guardian. Libya authorities have deported 80 Nigerian migrants being held in various detention centers across the country as part of the ongoing efforts to curb irregular migration and decongest holding facilities. The Department for Combating Illegal Migration, DCIM, in collaboration with the Nigerian Consulate in Tripoli, coordinated the repatriation exercise through Mitiga International Airport on Wednesday. According to Migrant Rescue Watch, a group monitoring migrants' welfare and human rights in Libya, the deportation followed judicial directive issued by the Libyan Judicial Police. Well, The Guardian has more on that story. Libya deported Nigerians over illegal stay.
2 Nigerian migrants feared dead in Libya boat accident. 2 Nigerians who were part of the 42 missing refugees and migrants in a boat accident on the Mediterranean route have been presumed dead. The International Organization for Migration disclosed in a statement obtained on its website yesterday that 2 other Nigerians were rescued alive in the incident. According to the statement, the incident happened on November 8 when a high wave caused the boat's engine to capsize, leading to all passengers being thrown overboard. For more, check the Punch. 2 Nigerian migrants feared dead in Libya boat accident.
From The Guardian now to business, FG to move against defaulters, confirm NTI loan repayments by 21 operators, with the Rider Local Content Equity Fund to be unveiled in December. The Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB, has confirmed that Tamros Limited, an indigenous marine logistics and offshore support company, has fully liquidated the $10 million Nigerian Content Intervention Fund it acquired in 2019 without missing a single repayment schedule. From 2019 to 2025, Tamros, a company that took a bet on the marine logistics business 15 years ago with a solo vessel, said it leveraged the fund to scale up its operational capacity by about 300%. With the repayment, the NCDMB, which manages the fund, said the company has joined 20 others who have fulfilled their obligation. But Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ainekin Lopobiri, at Tamros Celebration of Growth and Impact, warned that government would use instrumentalities of the law against 49 others who are yet to honor their obligation in line with the coordination of the facilities. The Guardian has more on that story. FG to move against defaulters, confirm NTI loan repayments by 21 operators.
And on the foreign scene, BBC apologizes to Trump over Panorama edits but refuses to pay compensation. The BBC has apologized to U.S. President Donald Trump for a Panorama episode that spliced parts of his 6 January 2021 speech together but rejected his demands for compensation. The corporation said the edits had given the mistaken impression that President Trump had made a direct call for violent action and said it would not show the 2024 program. Again, that story is credited to the BBC. BBC apologizes to Trump over Panorama edits but refuses to pay compensation.
And from the sporting world, Nigeria trashed Gabon's 4-1 cruise to CAF playoff final as DR Congo defeats Cameroon, set to face Nigeria in final. South Africa announces plan to bid for Olympic Games. All right, these are some headlines from the Vanguard newspaper, and that's a wrap on Today in the Print for today, the 14th day in the month of November 2025. Join us again tomorrow for another edition. My name is Ife Adedola.
And I am Omari Duncan Olotu. Do have a pleasure.